I will ask you guys to fill out. We do have a survey that we do.
Okay.
So
Did you get back in your game?
ask you guys. They didn't bring their game.
It's not ready yet.
Well, then should we bust out another?
I don't know what time it is.
9:40.
Maybe.
No, we're not ready for ours yet. We're not even.
Oh, I thought that's why we were. I thought we were doing a
No,
playtest
we wanted
exchange.
to check your game out. That was like the whole shit.
I thought it was a switch. I thought it was like
we're
an
trading
hour.
playtest, just not simultaneously.
Yeah. We,
No, our game is
we
so
owe you
long.
guys like multiple playtests.
Please. I enjoyed War for Indigar.
Well, we'll see
Still
if you
do.
enjoy this one. I actually really want to play War for Nagar. So if y'all want to play,
You have a problem, Chip. You own the game. You
I
made
mean,
the
I
game.
play by myself all the time, but you know,
Play by yourself.
when
I didn't even.
masturbation
Did you
losses-
guys put your scenarios up on the website?
Yeah, we've had 3 people play them now,
I haven't.
but I don't think. I think the idea doesn't have legs.
The scenario?
Yeah,
Or-
like I just think we don't have enough like mass appeal. There's like not enough in it for people to play the scenarios. It was an experiment.
I like the scenarios. We haven't done one yet. That's one of our things to do.
We have so many goals in our life.
Where is the?
Right?
I always forget how to do this.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead. You can. That's recording, so you can talk. But I just want to get your.
So I wrote down several things, which honestly, what it was producing an NPE for me to travel across the terrain. And Chip and I had a little back and forth. And what I really think though that what that was being caused was this class quest. Collecting all these items required going through so much different kinds of terrain. And like when we started the game, the first time I experienced it was like, I just want to get to this desert, but then I was like, I have to roll here, and then go back to roll again. And I was like, dude, I got to roll like 5 times just to move 2 tiles. And I was, and the reason what prompted it was because of this class quest. So the first thing is regardless of how subjective your class quest for that assassin may be, this is way more difficult due to the number of actions that it takes.
Right. Because of how many tiles you have to go through. My cleric one was the same.
But I have another note about that, which is the last note that I took here. But so ultimately, I was going to suggest the first thing that came to mind was because I don't just like to criticize and not have a potential solution, right?
Love
just
it if you have a
just so
solution.
you can see where my head was going.
Mhm.
My headspace was like rather than let's take this tile for example, right? I would have to roll here, roll again, roll again, roll again, like. And what I was thinking was, can I just roll once for the whole GD tile, and when I walk into it? That's going to make movement a little faster in your game, so you would have to do it. But it's to me that's more palpable. Like I make one roll and then I get free movement on the tile, as opposed to I'm calculating odds. Like damn, I really want whatever's in that wood. I don't even know what comes out. I guess wood comes out of the woods. But then I'm like, I'd have to roll just to get to the wood or whatever. And I'm thinking, no matter what my endurance is, rolling that many times, I will fail.
Is that Echo's Call?
Yes.
Yeah, it's meant. That actually is meant to be very hard because it has every single resource on it. So that tile is actually meant to be a hard one to get through to get to places to do
Yeah,
stuff
that
on
makes
it.
that makes sense.
How? So
But the case,
what's your suggestion?
I wrote it down when I was over here
Mhm.
because I was like, man, I really want gems because I'm thinking my class matters and like I should do this.
Mhm.
But I was like, damn, like I'd have to walk off the road, roll again, roll again, roll again, roll again, and I was like, that's like I'm gonna fail. There's no amount of. So then I just like forget. I'll just abandon it, right? Like because there's no way I can
Okay.
and get it, right?
I think if the goal is to not have people abandon it for like frustration, something that
So my question for that is, how would you make it so someone didn't choose the easier of the two?
You're talking about this particular.
Like if either one, right? So let's say you get free movement here,
Mhm.
right? And then you can go right here or wherever. Or if you go here, wherever you start off, you now have the option of going to the easier one that doesn't cost you as much in terms of
Yeah,
damage.
potentially, yeah.
So how would you?
I was more interested here. This is where I took the note of it, right? So my note basically says, I want to get here, and this is like literally the very first turn of the game when it took me
Right.
25 minutes for you guys to explain all the rules, which I have another note there for that, but don't let me forget it. But anyway, when I got here, I was like, all I want to do is walk over to the stupid desert and get a gem. That's it, right? But when I looked at it, I said, and I didn't understand the movement mechanics, and I saw Chip do it, and I was like, wait, I'd have to roll to get stopped here. then I'd have to roll to get stopped here.
But you want to get stopped there, so it doesn't matter for that roll.
Well, it does matter because I would lose an energy cube, so the penalty was harsh, right? So then I said, okay, then I would have to spend half an energy here to get a roll at the gold, at the gem that I wanted.
Right, a chance to get the gem.
And then I was like, and then all I want to do, and literally I'm standing right here, and like the city is right here, right? So I'm like, and then I'd have to roll again to go through the mountain again.
Yeah.
Right. And then come onto the road and get it. So it was a minimum to pick up that gem. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls just to get over to get the one gem that I wanted. And when I started doing the math in my head at the time when I first started playing the game, I didn't even know what the penalties were.
Right.
So then I was like, forget it. It will be an NPE for me to fail just to walk over here and get that gem. So just forget it. I'll go do something else because I didn't know what the rule was. I didn't want to look it up.
Right.
I saw Chip have to roll, and then I was like, and I heard his was kind of bad, so I was like, I just assumed it just got worse from there. And then I was like, well, 3 steps in, I'm going to fail one of those, at least one, given odds, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, forget it. So that's what made me think the idea was like, if I could just roll once for an entire section of the tile.
So we
which
could.
I thought this part was clever, where you said if you roll once for the mountain, at least you.
Yeah,
can
once
roll
you're
all
in the mountains, you're done.
Just in this particular case, that wasn't that way, and then this tile exacerbates that. This is a great example, but that makes sense to me with all the resources.
Echo's
on top.
Call is supposed to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. If it's a
yeah,
special
it's
tile,
supposed
it's
to
a
be
special tile.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, just click on there, and then there'll be things to type.
I don't necessarily want to defend the quest, but is there a reason why you didn't try to collect 3 magic gems while you were on the desert?
Why did I not try to collect it? Because by the time I realized, so I'll tell you what my thinking process. I can explain the whole game to you, like from start to finish, what I was thinking.
No, I'm just wondering. So
that might be useful for you to go through it. I got up here. I got frustrated by what I just described.
Right.
So then I said I'll never get the gold. So I said forget it. Right.
okay.
Then I started doing some other stuff. About the time I got back over here, I realized that I could get +1 renown for flipping 2 of these.
Yeah.
And so then my goal was to no longer play the game. It was merely to flip tiles as fast as possible because I was doing calculations in my head that I
Yeah,
could
that's
move
fine.
on to explore tiles quickly and win the game, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
And a short game. Yeah.
Yeah, in the game. That was the fastest path to victory.
Yeah. So those.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you play a longer game,
That would
those
work.
will dry up,
Yeah, that would
and
work.
you will know. I mean, that just we're forcing exploration for
That's-
easy points.
Right. So
That-
you made exploration
Yes.
your primary goal.
About the time I got over here. What drove me to go this way and choose that path was because your character got Uber in a heartbeat, and I
Right.
thought as an assassin you were just going to come over and grief, which was actually my bullet point number 8 was griefing,
Well, that's
which you almost did to Chip. You literally were like, I want to grief you.
so that's true. I could have griefed Chip,
Yeah, you could have.
but I gained nothing from it except for being a griefer. I
Right.
would never win.
Well,
and
you do gain something for it because you knock his items out of his inventory.
No, but
even
he had.
items. I mean, I may
I
get
know.
one item that he collected, but I wouldn't.
You
I
make
wouldn't
him
do anything.
restart. You make him do whatever because
It
it is a competitive game, Nate.
It
So
does.
it doesn't.
It does. Yeah.
Griefing means Chip is losing, even if you're getting nothing. Causing him to lose is the same as causing you to win.
No, because it would have no impact. In this particular case, there would have been no impact. He just would have spawned wherever he wanted
But
to
as soon as I
spawn and
pick
keep
up
going.
one item, he comes and grieves me.
Griefs you.
If he
Pick up
keeps,
another item,
right,
he
but
comes
you're-
and grieves me.
if you where you spawn, he can't get to you.
Sorry. Can we move this guy? Because
Yeah, you can.
I'm
Yeah,
totally
keep
free. I'm
feeding.
gonna break it.
And they won't break.
But there are other aspects of the game in terms of the griefing. First of all, defensive stats. Didn't play a role. Chip went hardcore attack.
Again, I think one of our biggest things is we did not see the market
The
evolve
market
at
didn't
all.
evolve. Yeah. So-
That was far and away my biggest criticism was that in order for my character as a magic user to become like even-handed,
Mhm.
I need a market item, and I can't like get it basically.
Right.
Unless all of y'all are contributing to the market, I'm never going to be able to like
Mhm.
farm the market, then buy the item,
Right.
and then feel like
Yeah.
I have kept up with the game.
So this was back
and that
to my-
worried me.
And that concern reason I said I wrote that down already. What has to do with that movement penalty. The mathematics of it doesn't favor using an action to go to those tiles because I'm like I have to roll. All this bad stuff's going to happen to me just to get to the one item that I want.
Right.
So I'm like, forget it. There's easier ways to get points. So mathematically, I wouldn't go after the market except by happenstance, right? Like I happened to be rolling through here and I had to walk across this.
So that's
tile and I
that was
like, I'll
actually
pick up
what we were
resources.
expecting to happen. Is like, hey, I'm going to go grab that exploration token while I'm here. I get the exploration token.
Right.
I'm going to roll again and
It's like-
farm.
It's like of convenience.
Right, and then
Like,
when you get back to the
yeah.
city, you're going to start develop. So the idea was that you would, hey, I'm going to start picking up these things. Oh, I'm going to start getting some money for that. Oh, now the market's going to evolve, and then there's going to be some equipment that I want. You guys, which was interesting in this game, didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
He
So
starts with fists that are twice as good as me needing a staff.
Yes.
yeah.
Luck of the draw. He got
So
the assassin. He
that's
got a
why-
club, and he got the knoll.
Do you remember when I came over here and I just started blindly walking the tiles? That was to get as far away from you
Yeah,
as possible. So
That's
I couldn't
fine,
be
but that is part of the.
because I was going to use the mechanic of you having to roll to get
Right,
rolled.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't get me wrong. That's
Yeah, so then I was like,
that's
he'll
part of
never
the-
come over.
that's
Once
part of
I'm
the
here, I'm
aspect.
safe from Nate. He'll never come over here because it will take him 2 turns to
Yeah.
do all that hot mess. And that's it. I will never go back to that side of the board.
Okay, but that's not
Which is why I abandoned that quest. Because I
Okay.
was like, Nate's over there, I'll get griefed if I go
Right.
there.
You yes. Made 100% sense.
Yeah. It's a tactical choice. It
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
Makes
that's-
perfect sense.
yeah.
It's-
So,
and that's the danger of starting with an apprentice.
I agreed with your statement when we first started. You said we're really just going to draw out of here
I think so. I think having them
100%.
up, yeah.
because you'll get rid of this.
Yeah.
This doesn't need to be a board component. It
No.
costs money. And secondly, a person like me who's visually challenged,
Yeah.
I can literally read none of this stuff here.
Yeah. It'll be better.
I
Yeah.
can't really see the board either, which is why I kept asking you, like,
No,
what's
it's fine.
that, what's that? But for me, I solved that problem by drawing 2 cards, picking the one I want, and putting one back.
Yeah.
And then you don't need this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's
That's good.
Nate was suggesting that, and I was like, well, but we want to have a market so you can kind of figure out where you want to go.
So
The-
So the interesting thing about the market is it actually pushed really hard when people did village quests before we did the apprentice
yeah.
class. And the reason why we did the apprentice class for a 5-point game is that
Otherwise, you don't get the
you
experience.
don't get the
Class
experience. So
at all.
it really
Right.
gets the experience.
It makes sense.
So the market actually flows really fast when you
If you
discount
start
it, because-
without
because
your
you're starting with nothing, you're starting without the power, you're starting without me being, like
Walked out.
Yeah.
a griefer.
So for a
Yeah.
5-point game, to give you the feel of the game, we had people who were saying like, "Oh,
I never got a class.
I never got my class," or "I never,"
I totally get it. Yeah.
and we're like, "Okay,
Especially
I like-
when you're
I like the
demoing
idea of
something,
trying to
you want
split
to
up-
feel the important parts
Yeah.
of the game.
I like the idea of trying to split up the tiles. However,
maybe in a quick game we don't even do the like. Maybe we just again we could for a quick game just say, hey, the thing half are built. Like one comes in, needs to be built, the other one's already
Yeah,
But
available.
What if
Lot
when
of
you
things.
flip them, there's a chance they're built already?
Sure, or like that, or we just do like
Well, because when you didn't build them, so this is the only way really of gaining gold. Is the market
Okay.
or the village
in
quest.
the village. So yeah,
Village quest.
you can make
Or
basic,
monsters.
you can make basic items potentially.
Mhm.
So the reason why these are harder to kind of get into though is that they're worth 3 gold when you sell them.
Yeah.
The
And
gems.
The gems are worth
yeah.
3.
So,
I think there
and
is
the stone
definitely
and the stone is
some-
worth 2. So these are actually very high end
Higher.
resources.
No, stone is one.
So, ore. Sorry, ore. is worth
Ore
2.
is worth
Or
yeah.
2. So you get 1. So you're really just kind of sacrificing a karma, maybe losing a movement at the time, and then maybe sacrificing to get potentially your pockets full.
I think I get what you're
That-
trying to
So that
do.
was kind of
You're
the
trying
goal.
to,
The goal is to make it a little punishing to try to get the higher.
You're trying to stretch the economy.
Yeah.
But
I took
at the cost of what? Right?
I took
Because if your game is like you said, one of the pillars is speed, right? You want the game to play fast.
Mhm.
That does not play fast.
So again, if you the problem, so what, I don't know if it's a problem, but what Neil was doing is he's doing a calculation in his head, is saying what is worth it for me to do.
For sure.
So again,
And
because
I'm
you
the
have
opposite.
because
I do not
right,
do calculus.
right, because you have 4, but because you have 4 actions,
we didn't Rain Man
or
it,
four,
right?
because you have 4 energy, which is literally 8 actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On your turn, even if it just says, "Oh, I want to get a gem," and I have to use 3 of my actions to get again, I can get my gem. It just costs me more time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you can still play the game and be like, I still want to do my quests and I still want to get these things and kind of hit those harder things. Or you could be like, I'm going to, in a longer game, he would run out of things to do. He'd be like, there's nothing else to explore. There's no tokens for me to do. I haven't advanced on anything else. He could be then, on a short game, yeah, that'll work well. So at the beginning of the game,
Assuming no one else is
right.
competing for the
At the
same-
beginning of the game, we
for the
want
same
people to
tokens.
go explore, get those easy exploration tokens, and sort of start building the economy and start getting those points. And then that dries up, and you have to kind of focus on the quests
your
to kind of
your
do the.
calculation of me running out what it would mean is that for me as a tactical player, I would merely switch gears into the next most efficient thing. It would never just be I had nothing to do. It would be what is now the most efficient. Now
Yeah.
that I've
So-
used up
Yeah, that's
So,
fine. enough.
so the idea was we get you guys
So-
exploring.
It actually wasn't until I picked up that gym right there, and then you guys were like, I could sell the gym, and I was convincing about my class, and then I was like, and you guys were like, the gym is worth 3 gold, and I was
You're like,
Yeah.
wait, 3 gold,
Yeah,
and I was
so-
like, for
yeah.
4 I get a renown point. And I
Yes.
was like,
Yeah,
well, game's
exactly.
over.
Yeah, no, because
Yes.
I
Yeah.
actually think that gem farming breaks this game.
Yeah,
I was
it
just
Really?
think- I was
It
just
would
thinking
break
about
it,
that.
yeah.
I would just sit here and farm cities times 4, or cities times 4 divided by 3 gems.
Sorry.
And I would go get renown.
Yeah, and where would the gems be demanded? You have to see if there's even
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
right. So
But-
there may be 1 gem in demand, and you will sell
like,
it.
like the scrying amulet will give me 9 gold.
If you go, yeah, it gives you 9 gold. But what if someone already built the estate there?
Possible. But then I just scout another tile and build the estate in that one.
I mean, to a point, you have 9.
I,
So
I think the thing that
It's
you
just
guys-
an early engine
What-
build
yes,
that I think
exactly.
would
what
put
he
you
is
out.
presenting to you is a scenario in which the game could end in a way that you would not be happy with as a game designer. Is what he's trying
right,
to
no,
to
you
participate.
could theory, but
So-
neither of you actually mined for it.
No, I could, and only because I did not realize they were survival. Otherwise, when I was
Oh,
here,
okay.
I would have mined the shit out of that right then because I
Right,
was like,
that's
but then when I got all these resources that I was trying to collect for my wizard, that's when I was like, oh, dump this because it's 5-point game.
Right.
Waste of time to go for the class.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
No. It was a 5-point game. You're not going to get all the.
For sure.
So a note that I took here is exactly what you said. This game is literally about actions.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that because Warfare Endegard's also about actions.
Mhm.
The game is all about you being the most efficient with your actions possible. The
Mhm.
person who will win this game and Warfare Endegard is the person who is the most efficient with their.
Yeah,
with
for
their
that was like,
actions.
I don't
So-
know what that is, but
So
I'll go leave that
everything
one
became
down.
a challenge of like, how can I most efficiently
It's a
use
single door
actions?
piece.
And I realized that because I took a 6 endurance, that my odds of rolling pretty good for movement
Yeah.
were good.
Yes, you can move around the
Yeah.
board really
Very
well.
quickly. And
yes.
so then I was like, I'm gonna city hop. First,
Right.
it was get away from Nate because I'll get griefed if I stay there.
Yep.
The second one was as soon as I get away from him, then I will city hop for max movement and then get into a triad like over here where it was adventure, adventure, adventure like that.
Mhm.
Grab a couple resources, sell, done.
Yeah.
Right, game over. So that was the goal that I saw.
Right.
It
So
took me 4 turns to figure that out,
no, it's
but
Yeah.
that's what happened.
so you
Y'all want to
could-
reset and play again?
so there's a couple things you can do in the game, or let's ask a couple questions.
Sure.
So, what did you see? Also, I want you to fill out the survey if you don't
I'm
mind.
gonna delete this one.
So, question for you guys:
Mhm.
What did you see as so you've described a couple mechanisms for winning the game. Did you see any other mechanisms for winning the game?
If we were to play the game again, I will utilize the exact same strategy at 5 points because I think it's the most efficient way to win right now.
Okay. So, if you did not have your class and we did a 5-point game,
Wouldn't matter because I literally forgot I even had a class.
Okay.
I wasn't even picking my spell or nothing because I was like, who cares?
Okay.
Part of that was because I felt like the wizard was an NPE.
Okay.
All those resources I had to get.
Too hard.
I was just like,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah.
That's, I dumped my cleric.
that's actually my last line here. Said class not important. My class was absolutely not important at all. So I
Versus
just
your class, which was
extremely. He was,
massively
Well,
important.
you
changed the way literally I played the game.
turn your wizard over.
Oh, I'm sure he's good on the other side, but I was
That's-
like, but it was the class quest.
Right now, I get.
It was also combined with the drow quest. So it was the drow says in order for me to do a class quest,
You
I
have
had
to
to
do a
complete
city,
a city
yeah.
quest. So you remember when I first started the game, I was asking about the city, and I was like, oh, I can't do that one because I'd have to kill Nate. I saw he had 6 hit points. I was
Yes,
like,
honey.
can't kill him. The
We're
other
recording.
city quest was not possible.
we are recording. You
So
can
I abandoned
ask.
my class
Okay, that's fair.
quest. And-
Look, I think
yeah.
I think that's it's a fair comment.
Yeah, it's just.
Let's
I'm
now,
just- I'm
Here's my
literally
question:
telling
Do you
my
find
thought
do you
process.
think
Like
these
Okay.
are solely beneficial?
What's that?
Maybe I can
The
add a little bit
exploration.
of
They're incredible.
I'll be home by
She's
then.
a 330.
Did you know that in the population there are
Compared by
level 3
five.
monsters in here? That's pretty much
Did not.
Get 'em like
Did
Did
not.
not. Just saw
So you
nothing.
flip one of those and something attached.
Yeah.
Just saw nothing but
so
positives. so
exactly.
it's
So
super
nothing but positive. So
Yeah.
that's so.
Make like a 6
Right
There's
there.
no level 3 monsters.
There's
Level.
two, I said
level two.
We
Yeah.
just didn't even know there was
So-
anything
But like
good stuff.
they,
Yeah.
he assumed they were all positive. So he
Right.
did.
No, there's-
I also did.
If you fought a level 2, then you would
Or
have
at worst, I was thinking
made it die. And, like,
Dungeon.
something
and
crazy
this
like that.
and this prevented you from getting the we also had a monster here. That
No,
prevented you
what
from-
did not prevent me was not the monster. What prevented
The
me was
number of
again
moves that you would
rolling
have
through
to
the
do, yeah.
train.
No, and by the way, again, that's purpose. We didn't want it easy for someone to get in there, get it, and get out. We wanted a chance that they would end up having to take on the monster,
And
Sure.
then-
right? So I mean that worked.
Whatever you wanted to do, yeah.
Yeah, no. So that to me worked.
I know, but it's also did you find it difficult to get to the aspiration tokens because of the terrain effect that you had to go through?
I literally felt I had no choice.
You had no choice.
But to go
So-
through terrain because you were
Fair.
going to grief me and Chip for the rest of the game. So I literally had no choice but to go through as much terrain as possible to make that not a non-existent
Okay.
strategy for you.
Honestly, I wasn't gonna grief
I
because
may not have.
no,
but-
cause,
Someone
no,
else
I know.
can do that.
Yeah, someone can do
But
it.
if
And
this was
by the way,
Nate
this is what
versus Neil
happened
playing for
immediately.
$50,000, Nate would have
No, no.
all day
This is,
long.
no, this is
Yeah.
no. The reason why I say this is because the first time we ever played this game, it was a complete grief. One guy just stood here, waited for you to respawn,
And killed
and
you.
killed you.
And respawn and
And
killed
then-
you. And then he was just rolling for karma. So his goal was, I'm gonna roll, get 10 karma, get a point for karma. Every time you show up,
We
I'm
didn't-
gonna
we
kill
didn't
you,
have-
kill you, kill you, kill you. We're
No,
like,
we didn't have
"Ah,
that farming mechanic.
that's
yet.
broken.
Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, would you see rearranging the tiles in a better way so you're not as griefed by movement? So moving resources around.
Yeah, I'll come back to the movement thing because I see what you're trying to do with this kind of stuff. I just literally wrote like 3 or 4 notes about
That's fine,
this
I just-
movement mechanic. So for me, it was an NPE. So I'm sitting here going like, I'm not sure how to resolve yet.
Okay.
I thought originally it would be roll for the tile, which you're right. That's a cool idea for the tile to make it difficult.
Yeah, tiles that are harder
It's
versus
kind of
ones
cool
that-
idea.
Yeah.
So my idea is not good.
Just that tile, for that particular tile, you are correct. We wanted to make it difficult because you could get every resource from that tile.
I did about turn 3 write down alternate activation, and that was like as Chip was playing the game or something else, and it was because I was taking so damn long because I was trying to learn how to play.
You learned the game.
But once we got going, you're
Yeah,
right.
like-
2 minutes a turn.
Yeah.
Yes.
No problem. In a 4-player game or more, that will be a problem.
Yeah.
Or is it
4-player,
Yes.
we already know. Like a lot of games, you go to 4-player.
I was actually surprised with the complexity I anticipated. I was able to move quickly.
Yeah. Once we had that big first round where I was like
Right.
asking a million questions,
Yeah.
and then after
Well,
that, I was like,
I mean, that's,
okay.
yeah.
No
Once,
problem.
I think once you understand the skill
Yeah.
check, a lot of this stuff kind of just comes into play.
There's
Yeah.
more to it than just a skill
do
check.
something with the imp.
Yeah.
So
I like the imp.
Imp equals not good.
the random of the any town, the remembering which town we talked about.
yeah.
that.
Well, yeah. I would
And
definitely
I-
put like a marker.
A solution
or
I
something.
offered there was you can return a quest to any aligned town that is the same alignment of the thing. So
And we do the same thing. We do the same thing for the market, so that may make sense as
it
well.
made a lot of
Because we,
sense. And easy,
yeah.
no track.
Yeah, and as long because our city quests are tied together,
Yeah.
so it could be.
so we can just tie that.
I'll
That
suggest-
for
Although
sure.
the
easy.
problem with some city quests is that they require you to go
Uh,
and play.
I
I can
took
shorten the game.
I
or
took
shorten
a
the
note here as I watched something happen to you, and the note is basically says no wasted action. So the game is all about actions. So it should. I don't want it to ever be the case where like I'm just walking down a road like you were, and you had to stop because of movement, and then you were like, oh, I lose the back half of my action because there's literally nothing for me to do.
Right.
There should always at least be something I can spend that action on.
No, that was purposeful.
That's,
So if you want the bonus movements and stuff like that, so you can get around easier, then if you end yourself on a tile that doesn't have anything for you to do but get that bonus, that's the whole you can optimize your movement or you can do other stuff. So that was actually thought about.
Okay. Well, that's my
Very-
feedback on it. Is
So-
that
so
I
here's
should
the
never
other-
have to waste an action because they're so valuable.
But that's what I'm saying is you're not necessarily wasting your action. You're giving yourself a
Making a
bonus
choice.
movement for your next
because
turn.
I could have gone.
A
I could have
bonus
done. I could have always done
Yes,
this.
because you get a +1 from a road.
right. So I could have gone 1, 2, 3, move in here. Right.
Well, no, it's not accurate because then you would have to roll, and there would be almost a penalty for you to make that choice.
Yeah, but that's the sacrifice you make.
In
You
this,
make.
in
do
this
I have a
case, it
wasted
would be
action or
like
do I
I'm
keep
starting
action?
here. I just want to get to that city, so I took 4 or 5. And I just even guys, even if the action was something like I bind wounds and restore damage or something, just something to do.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
That's
it.
fine.
Doesn't have to be big. Just anything. That was my thought. Anyway.
Okay.
Griefing. We already talked about that.
Yeah, griefing's not a.
But by the way,
Okay.
just I again, that was actually purposeful. So, but I hear your feedback. Like you feel like you're wasting a movement, but it was actually done purposely. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Again, it's my feedback too.
Good.
Yeah.
Now
You
here's
do
the
as you
question.
will with it.
Like, I mean,
So propensity to overcalculate. So that was me getting stuck with like making all those choices about the terrain and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But we've talked about that to death. I'm going to talk about that more. Mental can't attack. Chip and I shared that. So it was like Nate was an unstoppable juggernaut. We were pansies that could do nothing. So my strategy was to run. But we've talked about that to death at this
Mhm.
point. Run to explore, because that's how I won the game. I was like, when I wrote that note, that's when I realized how I was going to win this game quickly, was to run to all the explore tokens, which didn't come about because I'm a genius. It came about because I was running away from being great.
Perfect.
And then I came up with that as a strategy for how I could win.
And that is a good
Yeah.
strategy.
And then
Yeah,
last
I
one
could
was
always make
class
a run.
non-important. Like I felt like I didn't even remember that I was a wizard. Like it didn't matter. And so, and that is antithesis to a D&D game. So
Yeah,
when I
agreed.
talk about D&D,
Yeah.
your class is everything. So I was like, that.
So
that was
could
missing.
you go a little bit more into that? And the reason why I ask is because before we would start you with no class,
Mhm.
right? You'd have to go in, you'd have to get a class quest. You wouldn't even be an apprentice,
Mhm.
and you'd go in and do that. So the question is, how do we make so for
My first answer to that, like my knee jerk, like pop me in the knee, my knee comes up.
Yeah.
The class needs to have something to do with the win condition of the game.
Well, you get a renown for.
you get a renown, but I don't know that
For
there's.
You get a renown if you complete your class quest.
That's just my knee jerk, guys. I mean, you guys have
No,
played
that's-
this game way more than I have.
that's
It's
fine.
just like
When you get your class quest, where's your class quest?
if you want something to really matter, then it has to be a part of the win condition of the game.
Right.
It is. You get a renown.
Yeah, but I mean,
Remember-
really part of the win condition.
No, but you can't fight level 3 There are NPCs
Yeah.
that come into this game that like no one would be able to kill this until they finish their class quest probably.
Yeah,
Might
probably.
not.
And I couldn't finish it.
Because
I
of
couldn't
that.
finish my class quest because of it.
You might have to you would have to go it. No, you could.
You guys told me if I go there, I'll die, but it requires me to go there.
And what did you have to do there?
I had to go into the Elemental Tomb of Evil, go to that adventure point, and defeat the Spectre. Then make a successful mental check on a random wetland hex and dig up a random dead level 1 monster. Then fail the check, search a different hex. Then return to the city's hill point.
The wizard class may be a little.
We may have to balance.
the
Yeah, for
wizard
sure.
class may
So
be-
for sure, there needs to be refinement and balancing.
Yeah.
100%.
Whatever. Balance
Espe-
comes last.
Especially if you put the beholder. By the way, you have to wait for a level 3 guy to just come and kill the beholder for you, so you can. Okay, I get that.
I
mean, the
wanted,
other
like,
issue
like,
is- the
y'all-
other issue
y'all
is
saw
the-
how excited I got when I pulled the Necromancer. And
Did
then I
you
was
see the
like,
power of the Necromancer?
No, it sounds amazing once
Yes.
you do it, but I literally could
I think
never
another
do it.
issue we have is a lot of.
So one of the things that we could do.
So notes. I do want to throw this in before we go because I want to throw in things that I thought you did well.
Okay.
As opposed to just straight things that I noticed. First of all, thematically the game plays well, right?
Okay.
Like you said, you were going for a D&D style thing. I wouldn't call it D&D because D&D implies like a cooperative party adventure, and this is purely competitive.
Yes,
so
there is a
there's-
co-op that we have working, but
Okay.
I
I would
still
stick
hate
with
that
it
idea.
competitive. I think
You
it's
hate
fun.
that.
Yeah, the competitive
I
nature-
hate the co-op idea so much. It's not my fault though. It's
The competitive nature of the
So-
game was fun.
okay.
Like I'm sitting there going like I am having a good time puzzling my way out how I'm going to win.
Get away from Nate and win the game.
Yeah, despite what I felt like were disadvantages, I still was like I can still win this game, right? Like it doesn't matter, even though he's way OP compared to us. I was like I can still win, so
Right.
it doesn't matter. And developed a strategy to do it, so that was fine, right? That was good. From a visual perspective, from a person who cannot see,
Mhm.
right? I think as soon as you replace that and you just hand me cards and then pick one.
Yep.
The picking I thought was a genius idea when you mentioned it because then I can pick the one that I know is going to suck for him, especially if I get to lay it back on the top, so I can be like, haha,
Yeah.
you know,
That's super powerful.
yeah, it sucks to be you.
So
but-
take the top two. You're saying pick one and put one back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I may choose one that's good for me, but I may also purposely
Interesting.
choose
Put
one,
one
that
that's
sucks
bad
for
for him.
Right?
Okay. I like that.
So I thought that was cool. I like the market concept a lot. That was very thematic to me, and it felt like you guys actually took it one up. So typically when I play a role-playing game, I play a game where it's like you go to the shop and you sell your trash loot and they give you gold, right?
Right.
Like that's role-playing, right?
Yeah.
This was like much more felt like a realistic economy to me. I
But
was
nobody
like,
used it.
I use the shit out of it to get gold to win
well,
the
he finally
game.
got his gold.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
So that's why I was suddenly very interested right there at the end. Like, which one of these cities buy stuff? Because I'm
Right.
like, now I'm going to win, right? So, but to me though, that's reflective of like a real life economy. So it makes me feel like your game has more thought to it than just like dump your trash loot at the vendor, right? Which I thought was very cool. Like that's a very neat.
We've been
concept
working on trying to get this economy. So the economy actually works. The problem is getting people to use the economy. Like you said, like, oh, I didn't see that as a win condition for me, other than selling to get gold.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we're trying to make getting gold harder so that you want to get these things.
Mhm.
But we're having, again, in the short game, it's harder to have it develop, and that's what we're having a little bit of.
5-point game, I don't think you're ever going to get.
Well, we want it used a little bit, at least, in a 5-point game. So someone says, oh, I need something to go do something, and they go in there and they have to kind of go get the resources they need.
So what about if? So you know how you have this last slot that is something. What about if the first slot was? Because I assume they moved down, right?
Oh,
They
okay.
They moved to the right.
We just moved to the right.
They eventually come off the board.
Come off the
after-
board. If,
Okay.
That's
In either
what-
case, they're moving, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got dried up inventory on the shelf. I'm
Yeah,
getting rid of it,
exactly.
Or I'm
Yeah.
selling it. It's on sale or whatever.
right, exactly.
What if the first slot was built already?
Okay.
Just some way to like spark the economy, to get people knowing that the market's there.
So the question is, would they just go and just buy the item for gold? Because you don't. That's
I don't
it.
know.
You're just going there. Oh, I need 5 gold. Here's 5 gold. I'll
But
go
gold
grab
is
that.
rare.
I mean, it depends. It can be.
Other things, when we started the game, the character building aspect of it was good.
Yeah.
I actually had like proverbial pencil in hand when he started to roll, and I was like, are we all going to have to roll for our stats? Because I was like, huge NPE already.
Right.
And then as soon as you were like, no, you all use the same pool, then I was
You're
like,
yes.
yes. Very clever, thank you. I was like,
We didn't. So we didn't
Yeah.
want, like, we thought about that. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
want, like, oh, he rolls, he gets
no, good.
6 6s. You roll, you get 6 2s, and we're like, great.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
NPE. Then I was like, oh, the clever. We all either get really good or really bad or mediocre
Overall.
together.
And it depends where you put your
Yeah.
stuff. Like, if you put it like
Very
you did in
clever.
endurance, you're gonna probably try to do more exploring.
Yeah.
If you put it in physical, like he did, you're gonna probably do more combat.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put it more in luck or other stuff, you'll have other things to do.
It was good.
We need more magic weapons, maybe.
I think you need to essentially create
Class
a
bonus.
50 on it, or
I'll tell you right
we
now.
didn't. We weren't saying that people couldn't use their staff. They just can't use their magic abilities.
I'll
if they
toss
didn't
you
have
my
staff.
one reroll and a blowjob for a fucking magic weapon right now. Because
The picking of the class
felt
and race
I know
were good.
it
No
came out. I
problems
mean,
there.
the problem is
very
like,
straightforward.
none of us got
Um,
weapons because of.
yeah.
I got one weapon.
Picking
you
of the
got bag,
quest
which
is
allowed you
good.
to, like,
All
collect
that's
all the
fine.
things that you would have needed.
That was good.
So your class, your
Dynamic
bag would have
board,
been great
good.
for him.
Okay.
Right. Obviously,
my
I like
priest needed
dynamic
a
boards.
bag,
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
But
then I was
dynamic
like,
board
all
good.
the tiles
Yeah.
I had to go to. I was like, fuck.
Moving around. Like the idea of having roads. Thought that was clever and cool. Found the movement bonuses to be confusing at first, and I was constantly calculating, but ultimately like the idea of movement bonuses. Just think you could probably streamline that somehow so that it's a little less confusing with rolls, and rolls equal successes plus movement of the tile plus the other thing, and I was like, okay, that's a lot.
I wasn't sure if when
Um,
you hit the road you got the bonus, or did you have to start on the road?
You start on the
It's
road.
wherever you start
Okay.
is the so you just start, so you get your base class plus whatever the tile is plus whatever you roll.
Got it.
But ultimately good. Scouting, obviously, we like scouting. Good,
Yeah.
right? And then
Stole that from Warcraft.
I actually like the idea of me re-scouting and then being able to
To
not
take
bump
control of the
off.
tile, yeah.
That was clever, like that.
You guys
That
have
was
got him
pretty
late in
cool.
the game. I remember
Rotation of the
Super.
tile, good.
I think
Very
you got
cool,
lucky.
right? Like
Oh,
being
right.
able to
Decide the orientation, so it's
Yes.
advantage to you or disadvantage to
super
somebody
powerful,
else.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Those-
a
Well, the problem is, like,
deceptively
you would come in
powerful,
and you'd
but
be
a
like-
great strategic.
just get hit
Tool.
hard.
Yeah,
Also,
exactly.
this
Oh,
one
shit,
where
it's
if you
a
can
fucking
control it,
level
you go
one.
into it, and I go, good, you're going
Yeah.
into a mountain. And you're like, holy shit, I got to roll, I get a landslide, I take 3 damage, right?
Yeah,
And then I'm
definitely,
in a bad movement spot.
definitely.
Oh, that's where the avalanche comes.
So,
into play.
Lots of positive.
Okay.
So just have
Basically, all the core mechanics positive, right?
Okay.
Like
yeah, but we,
getting into most of it. So
we had to get you invested into collecting and not running away from.
The other thing we could do is we could make the class quests
I
easier.
don't necessarily.
I think the class. I think some of these class. I think we can. My class quest was fine.
Okay.
My class quest was fine as a progression in a level, like going to 10 points, right?
Mhm.
Because it involved killing people where people were already building up their.
I
stuff.
think your idea when you started the game of telling me that you had different ways to play, like 5, 10, 15, 20 is an epic game, whatever. I think I can tell you from experience that when you go around, you have to demo the game. You're gonna have to come up with a demoable version that's playable in less than an hour, including teaching time. That's ideal.
That's
right?
gonna be tough.
But you have the gateway. So you're talking about like how do I make the market more important? And my feedback on that is don't worry about it. 5-point game. 5-point game is too short.
Okay.
Right. Go ahead and hand them full class. Like here you go, and essentially 5-point is like you're playing an hour, have a good time / demo-y experience. The real core experience is 10 points, and then all of a sudden the market starts to make more sense, and then because you're not just running around just trying to finish a game quickly to get to know the game.
Things should dry up. You should have to go do other stuff. You're gonna have to kind of do your quest. You're gonna have to get weapons so you can go beef yourself up.
Right.
There's no leveling up per se, really, other than your class flipping potentially.
That's true.
So you basically everything is by weapons and items that you
But
carry.
you know what, Mark? I didn't miss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say that, but at no point when I was playing that game was I like, how do I gain level 2? I didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah,
fair.
So didn't miss it at all. So I felt the theme was good without even that. If that helps it. Never, but you're right. Like a role playing game, I would be like, oh, I'm level 3, but it never even occurred to me. I never once was like, how do I gain experience or any of that stuff?
Right.
It didn't matter to me at all.
Yeah, we started thinking when we started the game like experience. We're like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Experience means you level up. You level up means you have better things, and we're like, well, equipment makes you more powerful. That's leveling up.
I mean, the whole point of
You get
experience
your
is
you get your full
your-
class. That's leveling up, right? You're an apprentice, and you're
Didn't miss it at all.
And-
I actually wish that there were 3 to this.
Oh, 3 is this. When you do your guild quest, go look at your legendary friggin' items.
They are the asymmetric.
They are the whoa.
How do I know which one is mine?
You would earn it from the quest.
You have a guild quest.
Necromancer.
Like here's a rogue guild quest.
Wait,
No, look for the
so my
Which
mage-
one? You were
Mage.
the mage. Here's a mage guild. Here's the 2 mage guild quests.
Where do I get them from?
once you get this, once you get your class, then you would go and get your guild.
Got it. Okay.
So
then you can
get
go
the
on guild
Magi
quest.
or
So
the
that's
philosophers.
so yeah.
That's your level 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
So it does become important. That's not bitch, but that's cool. You know, would you?
That's fucking cool. Okay.
We might want to think about putting more level 2s
Level 2 what?
monsters in the exploration.
Oh, so there's more bad things
So
that
there's
happen?
a lot more bad things that happen.
Or
Well, you got the dungeons that can go into, you know, other
Well,
stuff.
dungeons just kind
what
of
you can
prevent
also do
resource
is
grab.
like there could be normalization around those things. 1 on each tile, but they're so valuable, could be turned into like 3 on each tile, and they're less valuable, and then you have more level 1s and level 2. You know, like you could.
Oh, you can make more.
Because that is definitely like a clear win strat, right? Like once you realize that just like exploring a tile, collecting those things, exploring
Well, I
the next
think,
tile, collecting those things.
The thing is that you'd assume almost everybody would kind of collect 1 or 2 at any given juncture. Like you
So there's-
collect-
But
you
the
collected
first person,
3.
the first person that
Yeah,
like
the first
stacks
person.
their endurance and just like runs into the corner and
Yeah,
hops
that's
from
fine.
1 to 1 to 1.
So you
You're
have-
gonna get 5 or 6 from
But you
now.
kind of
So
you
there's
try to
19
prevent
there's
them,
19
but,
tiles.
Check everything.
There's 19 tiles. 2 of them don't have anything, so there's only 17
So there's
tiles.
the pit and something else.
Right. This one resets. So if this gets turned up, everybody gets a new thing. So everybody will running around again and get more exploration and stuff like that. So they'll actually be like this will reset everything. We used to have it that you only had 2 quests per thing.
Until the
So
golden came out.
really forced people to go out. The problem is with more players in the game, it was like, oh, the first 2 players get the village quests, which are easy, and no one else gets them, right? And so we were trying to figure out
I
how.
thought that was gonna happen, and I was like, Neil is fucked, and he will immediately write down that he got no quest.
So again, we want to dry up the quest because we didn't. So previous games, what we also had the problem was that these quests were worth half a point each, and what everybody was doing is they'd start an omelet, they'd go out, get a quest, do it back, do that,